Hey guys, Booking of the Bat here, aka Cycler. So once more we return to the galaxy far, far away. This time for something I was hoping to have a bit more success with. To those that have been following this channel for some time now, you might know that I'm kind of crazy when it comes to marathon type of things. If in Naruto Storm Generations there is an ultimate survival that has no set number to finish the target and it just goes on infinitely and there's no award for getting to a certain number, you'd probably think who would be dumb enough to go as far as 999 to max out the counter. Or if there's a very kiddie minigame where you can get the winning prize, but the winning prize is so ridiculously absurd it could be considered a typo to what was in place. Again, naturally you wouldn't expect anybody to go for such a thing. Well, yeah, I'm that guy. I go for those numbers, those targets. So yeah, LEGO Star Wars was one of the earliest video games I have ever played. A very nostalgic title for me. It was also a very, very early title for me as well. I think it is one of the few games that really got me into platforming games, because I think prior to this it would have been Crash Bandicoot 1, maybe Crash Tag Team Racing, but this would have been around the same time. And even then, if I were to guess, I'd say that this probably would have been before Tag Team Racing, but it still would have been very close. The reason I am making this video, aside from it being its 18th anniversary today, was because I was hoping last year to achieve something that I had been wanting to achieve for a very long while. You see, ever since LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, I've paid a very close attention and kept my eye on the previous game, because you see, the original trilogy and the complete saga, and pretty much then and onward, had a feature introduced in the original trilogy for stud multiplying, be it double, quadruple, so on. The video game before the original trilogy, the very first LEGO Star Wars game, this game that I'm playing today, did not actually have this feature, and because of which, naturally, as you can imagine, getting studs would take a lot longer to get to a certain number. And see, that's the thing. From the original trilogy all the way up to the complete saga, and onward from there as well, getting studs was very, very easy to do. But specifically, the original trilogy and the complete saga had a limit to the stud count. It actually caps out at 4 billion. The Clone Wars can actually go beyond this, and I don't actually think there is a limit to it. However, other games like LEGO Indiana Jones and LEGO Batman, for a time, it did have this same 4 billion number that capped off the stud count. Because of this consistency, because I grew up with these games, I always wondered, looking back on this particular game being a LEGO game that didn't have the stud multipliers, I always wondered if the stud count could and would max out on 4 billion. And for that reason, I always tried to make an effort to leave my game on, specifically in the Mustafar level, where studs literally pour out of the level, and you can just leave it on for days on end, with silver and gold studs basically pouring into you. And so long as you have invincibility, you're pretty much not going to lose any studs. It's a very slow and tedious process, but if you have the time, the patience, the endurance, and the money, then theoretically, you could technically get to 4 billion with enough time and patience and endurance. With enough time, you could get there. So that's exactly what I had been trying to achieve for the past few years. And even going back a decade, I actually was trying to do it even back then, but I was not living in a very good environment back then. First and foremost, I want to point out that I actually did document each part of the marathon, the parts that I felt deserved a bit of a recording to kind of keep everything up to date with where I was and where I'm at with all of it and how long it had been going on for. And keep in mind too, this was actually before we moved house recently, so I am actually going to play those videos that I recorded now.
The moment that counter reaches 4 billion will be the day that this beauty of a title becomes BC. And all it takes is a little bit of this. And now
So it's currently 4 a.m. Monday. I'll tell you exactly the time. So, okay, 4:18, 3rd of May, Monday. I'm sure it probably says that already when this was recorded, but I didn't see it with the previous recording I just watched. Going into, well, this now, I guess, so yeah. It looks like this may just be another 2 minuars, because it seemed like it was 2, like, exactly, because it took me 13 seconds to skip the title crawl, pause it, enable invincibility, and then get the setup to play as Obi-Wan. And yeah, we're approaching 2 minutes now and 10 seconds, less than. We're on almost 9,000 now. So it seems to be pretty damn even for the most part. I also did delay a little bit. When I started up, I didn't mean to fall to my doom, but I did. But alright. Yeah, it seems to be pretty equal, so we'll see how long this takes.
Proceed. Cha cha cha. Sign the bottom. And with that, bottoms up. So.
Is this it? Is this the moment that I will achieve the maximum coins on this game? Or will it be 4 billion like the rest of them? We shall see. I've actually been after this for years, getting close to nearly a decade. Ever since 2013, I've wanted to get the max coins on this game because, yeah, to those that don't know, this is the video game, the very first LEGO Star Wars game. The Star Wars game that didn't actually have coin multipliers that the sequels got. So yeah, because of which, naturally it's gonna take a lot longer to get it for this game, you know? It's quite an endurance test, if you will. And that's basically what I've been doing for like the past year, really. I got slack, because like I said, I wanted to do this since 2013, and I did try, but so often there'd either be power cuts or something would happen. People would be turning it off accidentally when I would say not to, and it just prevented me from really getting progress, you know? It's only been until recently, my recent move, where I've been able to do it in peace and no one could really interfere. There's only been one power cut so far in the span of, well, not even a year, but in the span of what, 6 months I've been doing this for, since the start of the year. So yeah, here we go. 999, is it going to cap? Something tells me it's going to be 4 billion, but it could be different. This is the first game. And yeah, okay. Wow. This is my first time seeing 1 billion on this game. So I guess 1 down, potentially 3 more to go. And who knows, maybe more, because they might have just capped it at 4 billion for future games, and this game not so much. Don't know, but either way, glad to have recorded this. A bit of a chapter crossed off now. And I guess, yeah, we'll see if it's going to cap out at 4 billion when I get to that. It's taken me, what, 7 months to get here now. Hopefully less time to get to 4 billion, but it probably will, given, you know, how long it's taken just to get to this point, so, But yeah. So, this is where things start to get funky. I think this journey has come to an end. I wish I was filming this before. Yeah, last session, I was not expecting the result I got. Basically what happened was, I got the 100 million that I usually go for. After that, try to save that. Yeah, after that I ended it. I was very, very surprised for what happened in the results because yeah, basically it put a minus sign on my counter and it looks like it is starting to count down with each stud I get.
The moment that counter reaches 4 below will be the day that this beauty of a title becomes BC.
I tested it out in the overworld just in case, and yeah, it is counting down. It really is, and it's just, it's a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest. It's like, I do want to max this out. I do want to complete this. I'm a bit of a completionist in that regard. It's, I usually go for all achievements when it comes to like 360 games, or I want to say trophies with PS3, but honestly I never really played the PS3 that much. But with something like this, I have maxed out most of the early LEGO Star Wars games, or just LEGO games in general with 4 billion, because that usually is where it would cap out. And I always wondered, would that happen here? Because, it is an earlier game, an early LEGO game that doesn't have the score, the multiplier, like the double O and all that, just doesn't have those kinds of extras to really boost the studs to 4 billion faster. And because of which, yeah, you get that amount faster. So trying to do 4 billion here, it's a bit... Here we go, moment of truth. Is it gonna go down? Yeah. Look at that. Minus sign, and it's going down with each stud that I got from that level. I left this on for a day. Yeah, I was really hoping it wouldn't do this, but yeah, okay. I think we are at the end of this journey. I don't know what to think about this, I really was not expecting this. I was expecting it to either cap at 1 billion, or somewhere else, maybe, in our case now, maybe around 2 billion, if not 4. Or even then, it might have just, gone beyond that, like later LEGO games, but I did not see this happening at all. Yeah, I really don't know what I should do. I really wish I was filming last time, because it didn't start off with the minus sign. It like started to add up and it got to a certain value and then it started to go down. I remember seeing that, I was like, wait, what, am I tripping? I kind of wish I just, turned the game off just in case it, I could have bypassed whatever's going on now, because it looks like it's just going to continue to do this. It's not going to get rid of the minus sign. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I am in this scenario. Which makes me wonder, in which case, what actually would happen if I spent another year, because it pretty much was like, 6 months to get to 1 billion and then another 6 months to get to where I am now. So yeah, what would happen if I pushed it from where it is now to 0? Would it keep on going down? Would it, could that potentially boost it to 4 billion by going under 0? Or like what it's kind of done here, would it just get rid of the minus sign, just, start to go, back up again? I really don't know. Makes me wonder if saves have anything to do with it. I doubt it. Still can't help but wonder, because I just find it to be a very peculiar value to start getting the minus sign, just because it wasn't exactly 2 billion and it wasn't exactly 2,200,000,000, 100,000, it was like somewhere in the 120, 25. It didn't seem like a set value. It did seem more like a very specific value, and again, I wish I was filming it for that reason, so I could really see where exactly this took effect, but yeah, I really don't know what to do. I think, for now at least, I am at the end of this journey. I really didn't expect this. I mean, I've got a lot to do this year. We've got to move house sometime in the next month or two. I think once everything calms down, we're all settled in, maybe I'll look into this again. Or for that matter, maybe I'll even look into the PS2 version of the game, because I mean, I don't know, it could be different there. Probably not, but yeah, that is, I'm not going to accept this, because it does register the autosave, because from memory it does trigger the autosave when you go back to Dexter's Diner, or after you accept that. So yeah, I'm going to turn this off. So that's resting for a few seconds. I'll turn the TV up so we can get some audio. Yeah, hopefully that's alright. So what was that? That was like, I've already forgotten what the value was. It was like 2 billion, 100 million? Somewhere around there. Yeah, see, that's pretty close. I think it went back to what it was before. But yeah, see what I mean? Like how it's the studs, it's kind of overlapping for the game save 5. Yeah, probably got nothing to do with that, but still interesting to note in case. See, yeah, that might be another factor though. Just not so much it overlapping, but the fact that I have more than one game save, maybe that's conflicting with it. Which is another reason why I'm tempted to try this out on the PS2. Because there I can just set it up and have one game save, try my luck out. But you know, even then, even if I do go for it, I'll still be waiting a good long year again for that to get to where I am now. But yeah, I really don't know what to do. Like, even once everything's settled in a few months, if I should push this from the value it's at now to 0, if it's going to continue to go down. Yeah, look at that. It's just going. That is really going down. I mean, I'm still in disbelief about it, you know, just because I guess, yeah, I've just never seen it behave this way. Maybe because it is such an old game compared to the newer LEGO games, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to show though, like the results, see if it would add up or would take it down, and unfortunately the latter. If I start this again, I'll probably post updates again, but for now, thank you guys for watching. So, yeah, that's very, very unexpected. I don't know, maybe I could have found this out sooner. Maybe I could have done it on like an emulator and cheat engine or something like that, but I find that on hardware you have, you know, the direct answer available to you if you have it. And okay, certainly it took a lot longer to find this solid answer, but I still am very glad that I found out this way. I feel had I got this answer through emulation, it could have been a little fuzzy with how I viewed it, because whether or not it was going to be emulated through the PlayStation 2 emulator or whichever, I still think that I wouldn't have taken it well, as far as I still would have believed 4 billion could be capped out on hardware. So yeah, I had to see it to believe it. I definitely wouldn't have believed it had I seen this through an emulator, because you know there are very minor details that can be spotted through emulating what could be considered a flawlessly emulated game, and that's just the thing. It's those minor details that can very easily sway how I view what is achieved through emulation. So yeah, I just felt a bit more confident trying to do it through a console, especially since every other game that I basically maxed out the studs on was on hardware and was on Xbox 360. Sure, I was pretty much stuck on the OG Xbox, but you know, I was fine with that. It was still staying consistent to the consoles. But most of all, more importantly, I managed to get back my original Xbox that for a while had died. From memory, there was something wrong with the power supply or something along those lines. So during that time, during its absence, I had to use another potential replacement OG Xbox, but it just didn't sit right because it wasn't what I had grown up with. So I was very grateful and thankful to have gotten back the console I grew up with and got it fixed. But despite all of that, like I said, I had to see it to believe it, and yeah, I would not have guessed or expected for a second that it would get to a certain point and decide, nah, I've had enough, I'm bailing on this, let's go down. Yeah, it's very bizarre. I can't say I expected this outcome at all. This is early Lego games. It's, to a degree, early Traveler's Tales, early TT games. So I'm not really sure what to make of either this video or this result, or in general my take on everything. It really just it doesn't disappoint me. I mean, it does, but not as much as I thought it would. I mean, yeah, it's a shame, but I am still glad that I got to a point. It wasn't like, okay, well, I got to it, but then it maxed out at 3,999. But you know what? Even then, I would have been fine with that as well. So yeah, I don't know. I can't help but wonder at this point if 4 billion studs were to be acquired in a level, would that add up? If you were to have like 0 studs in the hub, go into Mustafar and get 4 billion in the level, would that register, or would that also get to a point and start counting backwards? I don't know, who knows. I probably won't try that, because that's a little overkill even for me. Because that's just the thing, you know. I didn't actually leave the console on non-stop, and then when I pulled the plug this one time and saved it, it started counting down. I did play it fair in that regard. I decided to give the console a rest too, because I didn't want to, run my console into the ground as well, because it's, it's that old. So yeah, I turned it off a few times. I think I left it on for a week or two non-stop, and then I'd turn it off for a few days, and then rinse and repeat, turn it on, get into the level, turn on invincibility, head to Mustafar, lay that to rest for another week or two. But I am curious if anyone here is watching who has tried to do this. They have maybe maxed out their studs to 4 billion for the complete saga or the original trilogy. Because I know that there definitely were videos out there where people were trying to max out the Clone Wars studs, and like I said before, I believe that's still unknown to this day, if there even is like a cap on that. I wouldn't mind getting into speedrunning this game in the future, because like 06, it is a game from that era where I grew up with it and have a lot of fond memories of it. But yeah, let me know if you guys have played this, if you've played any of the Lego games from TT Games. I thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, I apologize there was nothing truly amazing about this attempt or this marathon. But you know what? At the end of the day, unlike Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations with its ultimate survival, and unlike Bang for Your Buck, those I actually had to do something. This, I didn't. I literally just would leave the controller there, so in that regard, yeah, that could probably be one of the main reasons that I don't feel as bothered by this as I thought I was going to be. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Till next time, have a good one, stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.